Hello everyone, welcome to Aptera Owners Club. Today we're going to be talking about Lucid Air's modular battery pack. Oh, but before I get going too far, this is our Discord channel. Looks like we're up to about 229 members. So we have some pretty nice discussions going on and generally friendly, nice people in there. So come join us. Link is in the description. Okay, so back to Lucid Air. So you guys probably all know about the Lucid Air. Lucid Air is a luxury electric sedan. It's got like the highest range of any production vehicle, and it has ridiculous horsepower numbers. I think their Dream Edition is like 1,100 horsepower or something like that. And they have a very efficient engine, and they have probably the most efficient production drivetrain currently at about 4.6 miles per kilowatt hour. Aptera is going to be about 10 miles per kilowatt hour, but it's a much smaller, lighter car. So Aptera is going to be much more efficient than the Lucid, but Lucid is much more efficient than the Tesla Model S, which is their kind of competitor vehicle. What I want to talk about is their battery pack, because I was recently at one of their studios in Century City, California, and I looked at their battery pack, and that thing was beautiful. And I should have taken video of it, but I didn't. But luckily, I found someone else who took video of it on YouTube, so I'll show it to you guys. This is Lucid's own video of their battery pack. So this is what the battery pack looks like. It's an underfloor skateboard design, much like Tesla. But their battery pack is not one monolithic battery pack. It's made of 22 individual modules that are interchangeable. So if enough cells go bad within a module, you can just swap out the module, which I think is a great design. And there's other parts of the design that are very nice. And I'm hoping Aptera's battery pack takes some cues from this, or maybe Aptera's battery pack is even better than this. I don't know. I'm going to ask them when I go visit them. Hopefully they'll let me know. So as you can see here, there are 9 of these modules. See, they're long and thin modules like this. There's 9 of them on this side, so 18 here. There's another one here. There's 2 here. There's 1 here, and there's one centered in the back. So there's 22 modules total in the 113 kilowatt hour Dream Edition pack. And of course, lesser ones have less. So I think if you are making like a 25, 40, 60, 100 kilowatt hour. You could make modular battery packs and just configure them the way you want. This is the way that the battery pack is configured. This is by a person named Electric Vehicle Space, and he took video of it. So this is what it looks like when you go to their studios. You can just look at it. But these are the buses. And you see the 2170 cells. Now the 2170 cells are the same cells that are used in the Model Y and the Model 3 and the Aptera. So these are all the same types of cells. So Lucid, Model Y, Model 3, Aptera are all using the same battery cells so far. So I think that's a little bit up in the air, but I'm pretty sure that Aptera is committed to the 2170 because they've engineered their battery packs around the 2170, and I don't think they're going to re-engineer their battery packs. But you can see the bus bars here. They're very uniform, and you couldn't see them very well, but there's like little ribbon connectors. There's little ribbon connectors that connect from the cells to these bus bars instead of tiny wires. Tesla uses tiny wires. And that's important because the tiny wires cause resistance, and Lucid claims that you can lose up to 80 horsepower just from electrical resistance, and they get around it by using these ribbons instead of tiny wires. All right, so let's look at the difference between the Tesla battery pack and the Lucid battery pack. The thing that's cool about Lucid's battery pack is it's one injection molded plastic design right here, and each one has like a space for one of the cells, and the cooling plate is at the bottom here, so it cools all the cells through the bottom. And they say that the heat radiates better along the radial plane than the axial plane, along the axial instead of the radial rather. So it sends the heat to the end of the cell and then distributes, takes the cooling out. What Tesla does is it has this little coolant channel that snakes around their battery pack, and the cells are in between there, and they're cooled from the sides. And the problem with that is there's a lot of problems with it. The main problem means it adds space. So if you look at their battery pack, you can see this is the coolant, and this is Sandy Monroe's video. You can see the coolant channel here, and you see how it runs along the sides of the cell, and the whole cell is just like packed with this resin glue. The Lucid cell does not have glue in there. There's a small amount of glue to glue into place, but the thing is not filled with glue, so it's a little easier to take apart and service if you wanted to service them individually. Two, it makes it lighter, and then because it doesn't have the coolant channels in here, you can pack the cells tighter, so there is higher energy density in their pack. And actually, Tesla is going to move to this model where they are cooling it from the end rather from the sides with their new 4680 cells. So you see here, the new tablets design has an excellent cooling path out of the ends of the cells. So they realize that this model of having the coolant cells, the coolant in between the cells, is not efficient, makes it less energy dense, is harder to manufacture, and probably does not cool as well, because what happens is the coolant goes in on one side, so these cells get cool, but then by the time the coolant gets to the end, the coolant's fairly hot, and these cells do not get cooled as well. So it's kind of, it's not an even distribution of the coolant. So Tesla is going to move to the Lucid model of end cooling. And I think their design right here just looks beautiful and nice compared to, if you look at Tesla's design, these are their end buses. It just doesn't look as nice, and it's just filled with this resin. So Tesla's battery pack is actually, one of the better battery packs. I think Lucid's is just better. And also, you can individually pull these out. And I forget, I asked them how much these things weigh, and I tried to find out how much each module weighs. But it's a weight that a person could pull. I think it's like 80 pounds or something. I mean, it's heavy, but a person could pull it out themselves. Whereas, you're just not going to be pulling this thing out of a Tesla by yourself. It's going to take several people or a crane or something like that to pull it out. Or you could be ridiculously strong, I guess. So why do we think that Lucid's battery pack works? Like, maybe this coolant system sucks. Maybe it looks nice, but it doesn't work well. The way we know this is that for a while, since about 2018, Lucid has been supplying the battery packs for Formula E. So for a long time, Formula E, their batteries could not last an entire race, and they would have to switch cars, or they would make the race distances half the distance. But ever since Lucid started making the batteries for them, and every Formula E car uses Lucid batteries, they've been able to go the full circuit. So they've been using their battery tech in Formula E racing, which obviously they're putting their batteries through a lot of load, and the coolant needs are going to be very high, and they have to be, to meet their needs, they need to be fully charged in 45 minutes or less, and they need to output a ton of power during the race. So the cooling needs in these battery packs is significantly higher in Formula E racing than you would encounter in a production car. And so Lucid has been producing all the Formula One batteries since 2018. And so their battery pack definitely works. Now, I am hoping that Aptera is going to institute some kind of modular system so that these modules can be swapped out easily. And like you could do this in your garage, access the battery system, unhook the power, and then take out a module. And then you could add or subtract modules as needed. And so if they could make it modular like that, it would be great. So I don't know if that's what they're doing, but I hope they're doing something like that. The other thing is Lucid is running a 900 volt system. Tesla uses a 400 volt system. The advantage of that is to get the same amount of power, because remember, electrical power is volts times amps equals watts, and watts is power. If you want a lot of power, you can increase the amps or you can increase the voltage. Increasing amps increases the amount of thermal generation you get, because amps through a lot of amps going through the same gauge of wiring causes a lot of resistive heat. So you can either run a lot of amps and make the wires all bigger, or you can keep the wires the same and keep the same amount of amps, but just run higher voltage. And that's what Lucid is doing. So the higher voltage allows for two things: slightly better thermal efficiency, and you can charge faster. Because if the battery pack can take higher voltage with the same amount of amps, then you're gonna push more power into the battery pack faster with that, if you have a higher voltage system. I looked at Aptera's. Looks like they are committed to a 400 watt system like the Tesla. So it won't be Lucid's 900 volt or Porsche's 800 volt system. And I believe Mercedes is running an 800 volt system too. I suspect that 800, 900 volts will be the standard voltage going forward for fast charging needs. Now for Aptera, it might not be that necessary because you don't need super fast charging, because Aptera is so efficient that you can get a lot of miles per minute with charging, even if it's not the fastest charging possible. Anyways, I really liked seeing this battery pack when I went there in person, and I thought it was a very well-designed battery pack. And I love the modularity of it, so that things can be serviced easily. And because of Aptera's right to repair stance, and they're wanting more volumetric efficiency in their battery packs, I thought that hopefully they're running a modular battery pack with N cooling. That would be great. All right. Well, thanks for watching, and we welcome your comments below.